All right, before I get into anything else, proud mum moment. Stinky caught a mouse. Yep, I woke up this morning, and outside my bedroom door, there was a little mouse. I think Stinky got it. Well, I don't actually know that Stinky caught it. It might have been Dave. The mouse also might have just spontaneously combusted outside my bedroom door. But I am going to choose to believe that Stinky caught the mouse, because that's what I want to believe. Well done, Stinky. Anyway, enough about dead mice. This is an email from Elizabeth, and Elizabeth says, I have a couple of questions that have been on my mind lately. First, I'm 27 years old and I've developed anorexia about 3 years ago, and I've been in recovery, started therapy and seeing a dietitian for 1.5 years. In reality, I know that I've only been in real recovery for about half that time, especially in the last 5 months. I think I've been doing very well, and I now eat consistently and been able to incorporate previous fear foods into my daily life. As an adult, I know I'm the only one who can truly keep myself accountable for my recovery. I'm starting to worry that I may be becoming complacent with the foods that I have become comfortable with and the routines that I have. Do you have any tips for challenging yourself as an adult in recovery? Something else I've noticed is my resistance to buying certain foods because of the unhealthy ingredients. I've challenged myself to eat a certain type of food, but it's usually the organic, healthier, low sugar option. For example, type of cereal. Sometimes I question my motives for not buying certain brands, flavors, types of foods. I often wonder it's because I'm still afraid of them, or it's because they aren't something that I really want because I didn't really grow up eating them. I hope that makes a lot of sense. Do you have any thoughts on any of this? Yes, I always have thoughts, Elizabeth. The first question, you become complacent with the foods that you're becoming comfortable with? So I certainly noticed this in my own recovery, and have noticed this with lots of other people as well, that you're eating a certain really limited set of foods, and then one day you're like, right, I'm going to do something different. I'm going to be brave. I'm going to eat different foods. And so you eat some different foods that might be a bit scarier. And then after a little while, after you've been consistently eating those foods for a while, it's like they become the new safe foods. And because they were once scary foods, you sort of trick yourself into thinking, well, I'm still doing really well because I'm still, I'm eating things like, I don't know, cheese or chocolate or things like that. But it's kind of just become a new safe food. And this happens to most of us in recovery. It's like you make a change, and that's kind of hard for a bit, and then you settle there. And that's then just like this new version of the safe food. And you'll also probably find that especially with those foods, the new safe foods that are also a little bit scary, you have more rules about how you can eat those foods, when you can eat those foods, the quantity that you can eat those foods. And so, say for example, you got yourself eating pizza, but you can only eat it on a Friday night, or you can't eat it at lunchtime, that sort of thing. So there's still rules around that, which absolutely need to be rewired. It's just recognizing that those rules are there, and recognizing, yes, actually this is a problem. I should be able to eat this food anytime, and there shouldn't be rules around it. So the tip for challenging yourself as an adult in recovery is anything that feels like it's a little bit stuck, a little bit too comfortable. You should always be just going for the next thing. How can I make this more difficult? What food can I eat that's scary? Now, the second question that you've got there, but resistance to buying certain foods because of the unhealthy ingredients, well, that's orthorexia, my love. And it's important. It's important that you recognize that. And it absolutely is an eating disordered thing. Here's the thing. You said, I'm not sure if I would like these, other foods. You said you don't know if you don't want to buy these foods because you never really ate them before, so you don't really know if you should try them, or if it's, worth doing it, or so maybe you just don't want them and that's the truth, or maybe it's your eating disorder. The way to find out is to buy the foods and eat the foods. If you don't really like them, you lost nothing. You bought some food and you ate some food. You gained a lot though, because you challenged this sort of like, I can only really buy and eat the foods that I know that I like problem. You get double points if you buy something that's really highly nutrient dense, highly caloric, highly scary, and you don't really like it very much, but you eat it anyway. because it's so difficult to eat a highly caloric food that isn't perfect when you have an eating disorder. That's a really good challenge to be able to do that. Because food often isn't perfect, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be perfect for you to just be able to eat it, get your body fueled and moved on. But when you have a restrictive eating disorder, that just feels like the biggest sin in the world, to have eaten something that's highly caloric that wasn't just the most amazing, wonderful thing that you could have tasted. So it's a really good challenge, actually, to just go, I don't know if I like that food or not, I'm going to buy it and eat it and see what happens. And you might find that you really like it. You might find that you're like, it wasn't that great, whatever. It's all good. So if in doubt, that you might be, if there's any sort of, I don't know if I'm scared of that food or not, just buy it and eat it. That is the way to cover all of your bases. An example of sort of the highly nutrient dense foods is things like, and I think I might have already talked about this before, like I put it in a video once, I think that I went to Chick-fil-A, and I don't know what they did. And I don't support Chick-fil-A anymore because they are bigoted. But anyway, it was, let's not get into too many politics. It just wasn't that nice. But we were on sort of the road, and it was the only place to go to, and I was hungry, and I ate it anyway. And it was like, whatever. Like zero kind of guilt, emotion, reaction, shouldn't have eaten. I mean, probably some guilt because it's Chick-fil-A and they are anti the LGBTQ population, and I'm very, very big supporter and advocate for that population. So if I felt any guilt about eating Chick-fil-A, that was what it was. But certainly no guilt about, I just ate something that's, like nutrient-dense food, highly caloric, and it wasn't even that great. Not at all. It was just like my body needed to fuel, we needed to fuel, stopped, I got fuel, moved on. And I know that when I was in recovery, even if I'd if I'd been able to push myself to go and get fast food, if it kind of was a bit gross and I ate it, that would have traumatized me. It just would have felt so wrong. So that's what we're aiming for. We're aiming for you to be able to eat slightly not that good food that's highly caloric and not worry about it and not care about it, and it just has zero emotional reaction on you. I mean, of course, it's preferable to eat food that you're like, this tastes really good, but that's not life always. Sometimes you just got to eat stuff because you need to eat some food and get on with whatever you're doing. And you have to train yourself in recovery to be able to do that. So I'm not saying purposefully go out and stuff yourself full of highly caloric foods that you hate. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying challenge yourself that food doesn't have to be perfect. And sometimes you get served a bad burger, and it's not the end of the world. And you shouldn't allow your brain to kind of like hyperanalyze it and dwell on it. I think I more than answered your question just there. Yeah. All right. Bye.